last night is always the most important of any convention because it's the presidential candidate kind of introducing themselves as a presidential candidate to what is supposed to be the people who don't follow politics as closely. Not people like you who are listening to broadcasts like this, but to people who vote in presidential elections, maybe midterms. Maybe they voted for President Trump last time because they wanted a change. They like somebody different. And so he was trying to appeal to that group, independents, moderates. You notice his attacks were very kind of dull, kind of low. You kind of had to read between the lines. So he didn't want to upset Trump people too much. Of course, when they think they're subtle, they make fun of things like miracles. And when they did attack Trump,
that was an odd.
They attacked him on foreign policy, which I think, he's the one. America wants Afghanistan over. America wants Iraq over. He's trying to get that done. This whole idea with COVID that, we can't have miracles. Well, let me tell you something. God gave us brains. So, of course, you use the brain to create technology and make good decisions, wearing masks, all this, that, social distancing, of course, and the treatments we've already created for COVID that have been good. But you still pray for miracles at any time. I mean, if someone's diagnosed with cancer, you get the cancer treatment, but you still keep praying for a miracle.
Well, I thought that what he did was, whoever wrote that line for him may have meant one thing, but it came off horrible. I'm going to play it for everybody, and then I'm going to talk to Andy about it. Let's take a listen.
Just look around. It's not this bad in Canada or Europe or Japan or almost anywhere else in the world. And the president keeps telling us the virus is going to disappear. He keeps waiting for a miracle. Well, I have news for him. No miracle is coming.
Let me be very clear on this.
Oh, he's Jesus.
Yeah, let me be very clear on this. If it was announced in 6 months that we have a vaccine that is 95% effective, you know what I would call that? A miracle. Why do I call it a miracle? Because God gave, as Jordan said, individuals the brains, capabilities, the reasoning ability, the scientific knowledge to put all of this together. I've got news for Joe Biden. There are miracles. And the fact that we haven't had 2 million people die from this pandemic is also miraculous. You remember what Dr. Birx said at the beginning of when the coronavirus first started, and they talked about we're going to push down that curve. It would be somewhere between what they say 150,000 and 250,000 deaths if we did everything right. And it's about on that track. Now, look, every life is precious, and I hate that one life is gone. And we all know people that have lost loved ones, and some of you have lost loved ones to COVID. So I am unbelievably sympathetic, but I am praying for a miracle. I have a friend of mine right now whose father-in-law is on a ventilator, and I'm praying for a miracle. Okay? So, I mean, but you know what that is? That is the hubris, the arrogance of the left. It's kind of like, we are God. I mean, that's almost the way, Andy, it comes across.
Well, it does, Jay, because, we believe that miracles do happen and that you pray for miracles. You pray to God, you pray to the Mother of God, you pray to the saints, then a miracle will occur. And let me tell you, the prayers have shown the miracles that have occurred. As Dr. Birx said, and you pointed out, the curve has been flattened out, and we only have, as you said, 170,000 deaths. That's too many, I understand that. But you can't put that at the door of Donald Trump. This was the coronavirus that was invented, that was discovered or rather perpetrated, by the Chinese and worked upon us, and we've had to deal with it. And the president has done everything that he humanly can possibly do with the grace of God to contain this. And I think he's done a fantastic job. You can't compare us with Japan and Canada and these other countries. We're a country of 330 million people. When you take the number of deaths that have occurred attributable to the coronavirus to the population of this nation, it's very small compared to what it could have been had the president not taken the action that he did when he did. So these platitudes and these denials of the intervention of God in human life are something that is characteristic of the Democrats, and Joe Biden is carrying that line forward.
Let me ask Stan quickly here, not quickly, Stan, and that is a Washington reaction. I mean, I know it's a bit muted because things are so different up there right now, but give me your sense.
Well, first of all, just generically, I think there's an acknowledgement in this town that it was an already difficult situation with the virtual convention. But when you layer a candidate on like this that has difficulty with these moments, Jay, I mean, let's just be candid about it. He does. You were probably going to get what you got last night. But if I could, Jay, I just wanted to make a comment on this miracle bite because I had the same reaction. I've actually written about this a fair amount. I firmly believe in a God of miracles, but usually he performs those miracles, Jay, through the pinnacle of his creation, us. And he does that because he desires relationship with us. So the idea that those two things are disconnected is just not founded in reality and in the nature of the God, certainly, that I believe in. But in Washington, D.C., Jay, I got to tell you, I think some of the reaction from last night was somewhat baked in because I think they knew that Joe Biden was not a guy that could take a virtual convention and turn it into an electric moment. Now, next week, can the Republicans? I'm not sure, but if you were going to bet on Donald Trump or Joe Biden to do it, I think we all know who you'd bet on.